Hello, and welcome to our talk show here at 21st Century Christian. Here at 21st Century Christian, we look to bring the Bible to life in these modern times in which we live. This talk show started from a weekly blog post, 21st Century Godly Living. We'll try to leave a link below so you can check it out. Our belief is whether you're a Christian or not, the Bible shares how we were all created, and it is the blueprint for us living our best lives. Please share this link with others because you don't know some of the things that are discussed and shared here could really impact their life for the better. With a new year beginning, many of us are looking for improving our nutrition and health, especially now in this COVID pandemic that's affecting us here in the United States and really all over the world. So we decided to have two panel guests to come on to talk about nutrition and health. They are forerunners in this area, so I think you will enjoy some of the things that they have to share. At this time, I'd like to let you know that this is a two-part series where the first part will talk about nutrition and health, and the second part we're going to talk about actual exercise. But now, please help me welcome my co-host, Eric Heredia. He's my marketing manager extraordinaire. Eric, say hello to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Here we are once again, ready to roll.
There we are. So now at this time, I'd like to introduce our first distinguished guest. Her name is Dr. Monica Reed. Dr. Reed was an attending physician, OB/GYN for Advent Health. She was Chief Medical Officer of Advent Health, and she was CEO of Celebration Health in Celebration, Florida. Also, I want to share with you that she co-authored several books in the Creation Health series. Dr. Reed, welcome, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Also, I'll let you know she's a founder of Reed Consulting Group that specializes in strategic planning, operations, and organizational development. Maybe she'll share a little bit about what she does at this time or next when we talk. Next, we'll have our next distinguished guest is Dr. Les McCoy. Dr. McCoy is the publishing director for Florida Conference. He has conducted many health and nutrition seminars discussing the importance of proper nutrition. Les, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Welcome, welcome. I know you guys are super busy and we have a lot of questions to get through. And I want to give you some time later to discuss what it is you do, some of your passion in regards to the health and nutrition industry. So at this time, I want to go ahead and get started. First, Monica, can you explain to us what it is your Reed Consulting organization does?
Sure, absolutely. I do two things primarily: coaching, primarily executive coaching, but sometimes that goes into the realm of life coaching in terms of encouraging people with areas where they may be stuck or opportunities that they may have that they're trying to figure out, that type of thing. And then I work with organizations to also maximize their potential. Usually that's in the area of strategic development, but sometimes it's about organizational culture. So just a mixture of those things. Right now, I've been working a lot in digital technology and how that plays a role in healthcare. So that's been pretty exciting stuff.
Awesome. And Les, can you share us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, I work at the Florida Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, and I'm the publishing director. So we work on different programs for scholarship programs for students. And then the other thing is health director. So we're promoting health programs for our employees and for the community and for our churches and different type of programs, reversing diabetes and things like that. So that's the main part of it right there.
Awesome. Again, thank you guys for coming on and sharing. Okay, we're going to jump right to our questions that I have. And I'll alternate. Sometimes I want from both of you your opinions because male and female, and you both are in this nutrition industry, so you can kind of share and tag team. I'd like to name a few trends of diet, and I'm very curious myself. That's really trending, and some people do this, some people do that. First one is keto diet. Do either of you know what it is, and is it a good one, or in your opinion, or what do you think? What can you share with the audience about keto diet?
You want me to go first?
Well, I just about diets in general, but I mean we can go through a specific number of them. But I think when you do a specific diet that especially restricts certain types of nutrients for your body or restricts calories down to a level that's kind of in the starvation range or something that people can't do on a daily basis. They work for a while, but then they tend to fail. And so most people find that after being on a diet for a while, they lose weight, but then eventually they regain that weight and then some. And so it kind of becomes a vicious cycle. But the keto diet is very heavy in fats. And so it gives people a feeling of what we call satiety or satisfaction so that they don't want to eat. And yes, it can work short term, but it's certainly not a way of life.
Monica, doesn't it affect with so much fat? Isn't that affecting your cholesterol? I would.
It does short term, so when you're on the diet, there are some people who will see a rise in their cholesterol. When you get off the diet, it will decrease your cholesterol, but essentially you're altering your body metabolism to pretty much give it a jolt to do something different than what you've done before. And I don't want to put down dieting because we all need different ways to motivate ourselves, and sometimes you need to see that quick win, if you will, just to kind of get you rolling. I'm just saying that over the long term, those things tend to just keep us on a constant roller coaster.
Got it. Josh, Les, how about the paleo diet? Are you familiar with that one?
I think I would say a little bit like what Monica said, that there's so many different type of diets, and I'm not an expert on any one of them, but it seems like it was pretty highly in saturated type fats, high in maybe a lot of protein, that's animal type protein fat, and low in good carbohydrates for us. So when you get into these kind of different things, they're pretty short term, and they don't satisfy you for the long run, and you just kind of get yourself in a situation where you're not feeding your body the type of nutrients that it needs, and getting enough fiber and all of those kind of things to keep your body in balance, and to even lose weight for that matter. So,
Okay.
I have a couple more that I want to ask. The 5-2 diet. Now I've heard about this one. I think this is one where 5 days a week, you kind of eat normal, or 2 days a week your diet. I'm not sure. What is the 5-2 diet? Or have a fasting or something? Is that your understanding of that one?
I'm not familiar with 5-2 diet. If it is in fact 5 days a week you eat a certain way, and then 2 days a week you kind of loosen up a bit. Again, that's kind of changing your body's metabolism. Our bodies have a tendency, actually we have a tendency to want to stay at a certain position. The body doesn't like to move once it gets comfortable. And so that is a way of actually kind of tricking the body, if you will, so it doesn't reach a steady state. But I'm not familiar with what you actually do 5 days out of the week, and if that's restricting too many calories or doesn't have you eating those good carbohydrates and proteins that you need, and good fats as well. Again, it's a way to get started, but certainly not a lifestyle to sustain.
Now, the one diet I feel, or I hear people say is really good, is the Mediterranean. Are you guys familiar with that one? I think that one's with fish and a lot of fresh vegetables, no processed foods, I think. So what are your thoughts on that? Les?
well, the Mediterranean diet, of all of them that we've discussed so far, seems to be the one that makes the most sense. Or it does. It's doesn't seem to be a gimmick, and it does help us to get all the nutrients. It looks like you're eating just a good, well-balanced diet, and keeping sugars and too much saturated and unsaturated fat and all these kind of things out of your diet as natural as possible. So it sounds to me like that's what the Mediterranean diet is talking about. Much more natural type foods. You know, fats, if they're whole fats, they're good for you. You know, so those kind of things.
And I heard that. You're great. Because even with the Mediterranean diet, they said they don't even do sugars. Like there's sugars, like an American diet. Sometimes you want to have a little cake or cookies after dinner or lunch or something. You want to have a little sweet. Their sweet is usually a fruit or figs or something like that. They have very natural, non-processed stuff. So I'm like, hey, that's pretty, sounds pretty good. I guess you guys would agree with that, huh?
I love these.
I think we just have to keep in mind where people are on their journey. You know, so if I've been eating very unhealthfully, it may be very difficult for me to eat an apple, you know, instead of a slice of cake. But it may not be hard for me to, instead of eating a whole slice, to eat half a slice. So I'll pick me, you know, I like pizza. So maybe instead of eating 3 slices of pizza, I'll have 1 slice of pizza. And then add some other things into my diet. Because I think when we get into a deprivation mindset, or this battle mindset, it also can kind of just mess with you spiritually and mentally and emotionally, and it just makes you give up, and that's not a good thing either.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, I still want to share my disclaimer. I've shared before that we are just talking and discussing nutrition. If you're about to start a nutrition or a diet, please check with your healthcare provider. We're not giving any health diagnosis or anything like that, just sharing general common knowledge in regards to health. So going on, I'd like to ask Dr. Monica, how many calories, or would you want me to say Monica or Dr. Monica? Which one?
Monica, Dr. Monica is fine. I am both.
How many calories should a person eat? And for you, I'll ask for the female. And then Dr. Les, or Les, I like to ask for the male.
You can call me just Les. That would be okay.
If you can, to how many calories they should eat a day normally, and maybe someone in their 20s to 30s, 40s, and beyond, what's a recommendation in regards to what they should consume? And Monica, for the female.
So first off, I would say I'm not a nutritionist, nor am I an exercise physiologist. But there's some general guidelines I think that we all can follow. And probably one of the first things I would say is not to go by age, but to go by activity. Okay, so it's really how much activity you have in your life that determines how much energy you need to sustain your body and a sense of well-being. So in general, for women, that's between 1,600 and 2,400 calories a day in general. Now, if you're eating healthfully, that can be a lot of food, actually. If you're eating processed food, or, let's say if you have a meal at Chick-fil-A, you could probably get half of that in one meal. So, it depends. But in general, I would say if your activity level is relatively low, then you want to stay closer to the 16 to 18. If you're very, very active, you can probably get up to 2,400. If you have a lot of muscle mass versus fat, you can eat even more than that. So it's really, I know we love those straightforward, give me that one number, but it really does depend on how active you are.
Thank you. And Les, for the man, we know guys are different. They can always eat more than us.
Yes, the numbers are going to be just a little higher, but not a lot. So what Monica said is right on. And as we get older, generally speaking, our calories are going to reduce, 300 or 400 calories or so. So and I think something that Monica brought out is really important is that if you eat the right kind of good balanced foods, you can eat a lot of them. That's filling, and they're very low calorie, cruciferous type foods, those kind of things. And so when we put that kind of fuel into our body, you get a lot of nutrients and phytonutrients and all of those kind of things. And those really make a big difference. They keep, they're like the antioxidant type foods that keep our body in balance. And so, yeah, the calories for a man are just going to be just a little bit more. And the energy level is a lot of, just like what Monica said, is going to make a big difference. So the more active we are, we're doing quite a bit of exercise, we can add a little more fuel.
Yeah, now I would like to interject for a second and ask you guys a question, because as you guys are speaking, I'm hearing, there's different diets, for example, and some of them are just there to kind of, get you started, some type of motivation. But it seems to me like you guys might know what type of common foods are good to eat. You guys mentioned processed. What is the difference between processed food and something that you consider healthy? Um, I guess that's my first question. And with that, I also would like to ask, because Monica, you mentioned something even spiritually. It messes it with you spiritually. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, let me start with the latter in terms of spiritual connection. So we are one. We are mind, body, and spirit. Anything that we do physically affects us emotionally, affects us mentally. What we do spiritually affects different parts of us. And so I think that this struggle that people have with food and determining a right diet is one where you do want to incorporate kind of your own spirituality as a result of that. I think that the health journey is a spiritual one. It's very connected to, in terms of what I've written about, what God established for us at the very beginning of time, before we had all of these struggles. So if you look at what people ate, in the Garden of Eden, it was fruits, grains, nuts, things that were natural and from the ground. I think a guiding principle, regardless of what diet you want to call yourself taking, a guiding principle is natural foods, and Les said it, natural foods are better than man-made foods. We cannot improve upon what God created. We just can't. And so the closer you stay to what comes out of the ground instead of what comes out of a box, the better off you're going to be. The clearer your mind is going to be, the better your attitude is going to be. Your body as a temple is just cleaner. You'll sleep better. Your attitude is better. Your outlook is better. These things are what we know, but they're sometimes challenging for us to practice.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Now I'll piggyback on what she was talking about. I know that you've dealt with some of the products from Creation Health. They have some habits, and I guess I wanted to ask you, from what you've seen, what you publish out there, how are these material? Like, can you share a little bit about the 8 laws and how do they actually work on people's lives?
Well, one of the things that, and we were talking about what Monica said, getting as natural as possible. I mean, we want to drink a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard someone say it's better to sip it, not gulp it. So that this was a nutritionist that told me that, because it absorbs better. But you need to have a lot of water, a lot of fresh air, and exercise. One of the things that's really good is the aerobic type exercise or burst training, interval type training, where you exercise very moderately for a minute and then you run it up for about 30 seconds or so. Sprint type things. Those are really good for your body. And when you talk about nutrition itself, one of the things that really helps is if you can figure out a way that the nutritionists put it anyway, I guess, is how to fiber up our meals, how to power them up, And so, like, you take a good food is an avocado, that's a whole fat. So that is not, that's going to have all the ingredients in it that you need. If you take a baked potato, there's really nothing too much wrong with a baked potato. It's putting all the very highly processed stuff on it. So you power it up. You put beans and tomatoes on top of it, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you use those kind of principles, then you don't even have to think about the calories as much. because you're eating very low kind of calories anyway. So those are just some of the principles. Yeah.
And I know Angelique is going to come with some questions that we've been getting a lot. One thing that I've been hearing is that it seems like it's a lifestyle. You have to drink water, you have to be active, and fresh air. Monica, is there any other habits that you think add to this lifestyle? I mean, am I correct? Is it a
No,
lifestyle?
you're absolutely correct. I would say just adding in the relationship component. So we know that people who have healthy relationships, strong connections, even people who go to church, belong to clubs, do those types of things, they tend to be healthier and live longer and have a better quality of life. So looking at positive relationships is good. Your mindset, we talk to ourselves more than we talk to anyone else. We kind of wake up talking to ourselves. And so it's what are those types of things that you're saying to yourself, how do you see the world? Are you, the glass is half full or the glass is half empty? All of those things make a difference in terms of what your body secretes, whether you're stressed or not. When you're very stressed, it's difficult to lose weight. So if you're trying to lose weight and you're stressed because of your work or you're not getting even sleep, it makes a huge difference. Studies have shown that people who are sleep deprived, their bodies tend to act like they're diabetic. So you hold on to weight. And so everything kind of plays together and it can be overwhelming. But what I would say is just wherever you are on your journey, if you don't even have a and say you're going to drink 8 because you're not, so it's just let me just try one glass of water, let me sip this one glass of water today, next week it'll be 2 glasses of water, we're not going anywhere. So it's just like, kind of work with yourself, give yourself grace, but kind of have a focus. That's the way I like to look at it and look at it in a very holistic manner. You always do better with health type of things when you have a buddy that you're sharing with, or a Facebook.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
I wanted to go ahead and move on. What is a realistic BMI for women, and then less if you know for men? And what is BMI? Because a lot of people just think of calories in and out. They don't really concern themselves with it. But should that be important where we are on that BMI scale?
Well, should it be important? It is important, but I would tell you that most of what you need to know about your body, you probably already know. So all of us on the phone call, we know whether we can afford to lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, whether we're exercising regularly or not. And so, I try to have people not get stuck on a number. I would say if you're interested in BMI, just Google it. It will tell you everything, but it's related again to your height, and your weight and your body mass in terms of how much muscle you have versus how much fat you have. And so if I am, let's say, for example, an elite swimmer and I weigh 150 pounds, but my body fat is 2%, that's very different than Monica Reed's 150 pounds at 20% body fat, And so you have to take those things into account. But I really just try to encourage people to go with what they know. And when we're honest with ourselves, it's like, okay, do I eat as good as I should? No. So what little things can I change? I can get on the scale and kind of see, okay, I'm a little bit heavy. I don't have to really worry about BMI again, unless I'm an elite athlete. If I'm 10 pounds overweight, most of us are pretty average citizens and we kind of know what we need to do. And so I just, I like to try to keep people encouraged in that way versus kind of getting stuck on a number. Now I confess, I check the scale. I like the accountability of the scale. They say you shouldn't weigh yourself, just be healthy. But I like it because it says it's like, okay, even though I know that, wow, you kind of had pizza like 2 times this week instead of, once this week. Yeah, my body's going to react to that salt. I know that. And so the trends just kind of help keep accountability for me. But you don't want to be slave to numbers. You really want to just kind of be a servant to good health.
And Les, I'm going to give you 2 questions. that I have written here. They're kind of the same. You had mentioned about sipping water slowly because you had that or heard someone say that. How about eating? Because I've always heard of relatives, and when you're younger, a lot of us may have, eat slowly, don't rush through your food. So what about eating slowly? Is it helping losing weight? Is there any truth to that? Is that an old wives' tale?
Well, it's a really good habit to get into, and you enjoy your meal a lot more if you eat slowly, and you probably won't eat as much either. So that will help keep the calories down. So that's the whole idea, is you don't want to put too much energy in there unless you plan on burning it up. so um, so I think eating slowly, but it's a good habit, and I'm not going to say I've totally conquered that one either. But if you want to just enjoy food, because food it's a good time to really enjoy and relax, then yeah, eat slowly. It's going to be better for your body, and you're not going to be overeating, because that's a very uncomfortable feeling. So I think those are some of the principles there.
I think in eating slowly, they said that, and Monica, you may can say on this, that I think the satiety, you're right, a few minutes ahead. So if you eat slowly, you may get full faster. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Am I saying it right?
Well,
unless
yeah, a couple things. It takes your brain about 20 minutes to know that you're satisfied. And so, most of us are already on our second plate of food before those 20 minutes pass. And then it's just like, oh my gosh, but yeah, it takes about 20 minutes. But the thing with chewing your food, besides just the pure enjoyment of it, what is this texture like? What does this smell like? What is this experience like? It also allows the enzymes that are part of your digestive tract, from the time you put something in your mouth to the time you actually excrete it, to do what they're supposed to do. And I think I would challenge people who are listening to just try to chew their food completely before they swallow. Make sure that it's mushed before you swallow. And you would be shocked at how long it takes in chewing for that to actually happen. We usually do not chew our food completely before we swallow, but it's just a fun thing to do, to learn about your body, that it's, probably about 30 chews on one bite of food before it's pretty soft. And actually, that was one of the reasons why granola was invented, to kind of help people slow down and chewing their foods back in the 1800s. But anyway, it's a chance to be present and to really experience your food. But yeah, we do tend to gobble our food down, but it takes the brain a little while and your enzymes a little while to work.
Something to add. I'm sorry, Angelique. You said enzymes. I guess I didn't really study until I got this, but when you say enzyme, I remember in school they said, and it's so true, that just your saliva, which has it breaks down the food in itself. Like, you can grab water and put it on the food and it might break it down or whatever, but your saliva has a special chemical reaction to the food that breaks it down. So the more time is in your mouth, it breaks it down. That's a good point. Thank you for sharing.
That's right.
And it also, I just thought of this. I don't know if it's got any validity, but when we chew our food slowly, it gives us a good chance to listen to whoever we're eating with. We just, instead of dominating the conversation and not paying attention, listen.
Social aspect and the relational aspect that we talked about, very important. Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
Yeah. I like that. Thank you. So we're talking about slow eating. How about crash dieting or losing weight slow? So is that good to crash diet and hurry up and lose? And what does it do for your body? Like when you want to drop 20 pounds or 50 pounds, some of these stars, they do that. And then you hear them in the hospital. So what happens when someone tries to lose weight really quickly?
Well, I wish that we could limit it to the stars, the Hollywood stars. I think do that. There's a wedding I want to be in. Oh, the summer's coming. I want to look good in my bathing suit. I mean, we tend to be an all or none society. So we eat, and then it's like, oh, I'm going to go on this, this juice diet, or I'm going to, do a 30-day juice fast. I'm going to, do the 5-2 or the keto, or, that's just kind of our pattern. It's kind of, we started the conversation. But your body, it will react immediately, but it reaches a new steady state and you won't lose. And in fact, you'll gain. Your body, our natural body response to stress is to hold on tight. And so when you're stressed and you're holding on tight, another thing that your body is holding on tight to is fat. I mean, literally, you will not lose weight doing those types of things. And so in general, you'll hear people talk about a half a pound to a pound a week, sometimes 2 pounds, depending on, how heavy you are and where you're starting. But if you're trying to lose weight, it's a process. I recently lost a substantial amount of weight after living a very stressful lifestyle, and it took me about 2 years. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but it was really, and I've written about health, so there's talk about it, and then there's the practice of it. And I think it's happening in our lives, and we choose to eat on the run because we're busy. So what do I need to slow down in my life so that I can sit down and then enjoy a meal with someone instead of eating in a meeting while I'm doing something else? There's just a lot to it, but crash diets make you crash and burn. They'll get you a short-term result. So if you're trying to get in that wedding dress, yeah, maybe, but probably by the time your honeymoon's over, you've put on about 5 pounds. So
a different person after the wedding. For all of us, it happened to me.
When you think about it a little bit, is that what Monica was saying? If you think about it, say you want to lose 30 pounds. Well, if you do take some time and lose a pound a week, or maybe even only a half a pound a week, time goes by pretty fast.
it does.
Even this whole year of coronavirus, it's been tough, but it's gone by, and we're thankful that we're getting into 2021, real soon. But the thing about it is, it goes by. So if we just plan to enjoy life, enjoy the going down in your weight, don't try to make it miserable for yourself, or you'll never get there.
Right.
And it'll turn out to be much more of a lifestyle than just a fad kind of thing.
I do have one question for Monica.
That 100%.
Oh, there you go. Monica, I have a question for you. You said it took you 2 years.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Angelique is going. Can you hear me, Angelique? Okay, yeah, no. So the question for you, Monica, you said that it took you 2 years to lose some weight. Why did you decide to lose weight?
Well, because my mind was too high. And the scale was telling me things I didn't want to see. Well, it was a process and a journey for me, and I don't mind saying, so when I wrote the book, Creation, Health, Breakthrough, probably, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, I'm back down to the size I was when I wrote that book. In between that time, I gained 60 pounds, actually probably between 60 and 70 pounds. And I had a number of medical problems. I was pre-diabetic. I had intestinal problems, intestinal issues. I wasn't sleeping well. And quite frankly, I was depressed. I didn't like the way I looked, and I knew what I wanted to be, but there were aspects of my life that I needed to change so that I could relax and smell the roses and really have the mental space to clear the decks, if you will. The other thing that I would say that's so important is that it's very different when you just want to lose 5 to 10 pounds. And when you're talking about losing 60, 100 pounds, there's different knowledge now about obesity as a disease, and not just obesity as a disease, as a function of willpower. So a lot of times we say, well, if she would, or he would just, stop eating so much and start exercising, they would lose weight. They just don't have willpower. Well, at a certain point, depending on how much weight you've gained, your whole body chemistry has actually changed. And so you will need the help of a physician. And I'm talking now about an endocrinologist, someone who actually specializes in the way the body works, the way your pancreas works, and understands actually the new medications that are being used to help people who are suffering from the disease of obesity. And that's a really important shift in mindset, because I think we shame people who have significant amount of weight to lose without really understanding obesity as a disease. And that's still, even in the medical community, you'll find doctors who don't believe that it's a disease. But if you look at those who are specialists in obesity, you'll hear that. And that was also very helpful to me in terms of my mindset, to understand that my body chemistry was out of whack. And there were some things that I had to have the help of a physician to kind of get that back in order so that I could even start losing weight. But that's probably a topic for, that's a testimony.
Well, that's a testimony. No, thank you for sharing, because a lot of people are going through this type of things, and they just think it's just a diet thing or whatever, when things already shifted and there's more going on.
Absolutely, especially for women. Especially for women, it's true, but it's even more of a problem hormonally for women.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing.
Les, I wanted to ask you, what's a good carb versus a bad carb? Just an example. Because I know carbs is a hot topic and people are like, oh, carbs are bad. And they're not necessarily bad, right? Let me share with you.
No, a good or bad carb would probably be something that has been processed a lot. And a good carb is something that's natural. So if you can stick to the carbs, I think carbs have gotten a pretty bad rap, because people are wanting to increase their protein a lot. They talk about so much protein. But if you get on a good balanced diet or lifestyle, then and eat plenty of carbs that are good carbs, that are natural foods in their natural state. Some, even raw foods are good. Not, you don't have to overdo it, but just those kind of foods that are high in nutrients and those kind of things, and then you're going to do just fine. But it's when you start adding too many processed type foods, then we're going to get ourselves in trouble, and that's pretty much the bottom line.
This bar is definitely a bad carb. Apple is is apple carb or what?
Yes,
carb?
It's good.
It's fruit, it's a carb, huh? It has sugar, natural sugar. Got it. Monica,
yes, ma'am.
someone has sent this question, and I've never even heard of this. I don't even know if that's a thing. If we've been on yo-yo diets in the past, have we damaged or hurt our metabolism? Is that a possibility, to damage or hurt your metabolisms when you've crashed and up and down in diets? Is that such a thing?
I would say that I am amazed at how much abuse our bodies can take, and still fat. We are truly fearfully and wonderfully made, and our bodies can really suffer quite a bit and learn how to compensate for it, and then still respond once you take on good habits. And so we know that, let's say you never exercised in your life, and so your risk for heart disease or high blood pressure is increased. You can start exercising at 50, 60, just walking. Of course, get your doctor's clearance and all of that. But you will get benefit from that. And so I wouldn't say you're hurting. I mean, yes, in the short term, you're depriving your body, is probably a better way of saying, of what it needs. But the body learns to function pretty well. I mean, most of us don't have great diets, and yet we're still here. But if you'll do so much better with a healthier, plant-based diet, or minimizing the amount of meat that you eat. You talk about good carbs versus bad carbs. So it's one thing if I eat a baked potato, it's another thing if I'm eating potato chips. I would say that the chemicals also that are put on our foods really do some cellular damage that we're beginning to understand, but it is, and I would say in the science community talked about a lot. But if you look at a bag and there's more things you can't pronounce on it than you can pronounce, it's probably not the best thing to eat. And I would say the more processed the foods we eat, the more expensive they are, quite honestly. So a bag of beans doesn't cost so much, but if I'm eating fried or processed foods, it tends to cost more. I can get a bag of beans cheaper than I can get a Happy Meal. So.
And the cost is not only financial, but on your bodies, like you said, in the cellular structure, your health.
Sure.
As you get older, you don't know what kind of damage you've done to yourself and your body, your innards, as they say, the old people.
Yeah, I would even say your attitude too. Most people do not realize that what they eat and how they eat actually affects their attitude. And
well,
those things makes a difference.
Yeah.
Another thing you can, and going along with what Monica said, is it's kind of amazing how fast the body responds. But there have been people, when they get on a good, wholesome lifestyle type diet, their medication level can be reduced pretty rapidly,
Sure.
and so that can make a big difference right there. So.
Absolutely. I want to thank you too, but before, on final thoughts, Monica, can you share the concept of Creation Help series, the books? I thought it was just one, but you have a series. So just real quick, like how many are in the series? I know you were a co-author with other authors on Creation Help, and we've mentioned it a couple of times. So, and we'll try to have links with this video if
Sure.
people want to order that. But go ahead.
There's actually multiple books on the 8 principles of creation: choice, rest, environment, activity, trust in divine power, interpersonal relationships, outlook, and nutrition. Those basic concepts are building blocks that we need. And then there are books written on each one that people have taken beyond the work that I originally did, that are available as well.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Les, any final thoughts or upcoming seminars, even if it's online in this COVID environment we're in, that you have? Because I know you do a lot with nutrition and health.
Yeah, well, we did some videos this summer, and we put them on Instagram and YouTube, and they were on health. Yummy vegan cooking was one of them. And then we had another one on exercise, on medical advice, from one of our leaders who's now a medical doctor. So that was very good. We had children's stories. I got to be Uncle Les, so Uncle Les's children's story hour. So that was fun. And we read a lot of children's stories, and then devotionals, so those are all online under our Florida Youth Summit name.
There you go. Okay.
And they're very, very good videos.
We'll put a link. We'll have to put a link for that below, so everybody can find you guys. But thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to thank my guests for being on our show. This is on Health 2021. We shared a lot of tips. Again, if you need to start a regimen, a lot of us do, please check with your healthcare provider, a dietitian, and make sure you're doing what's best for your body for 2021 and beyond. And also, this is, like I said, a 2-part series. First part was health and nutrition, which we went over today. The next one will be on fitness. So watch out for that one. We're going to be health and fitness in 2021 and what exercise regimens will be good for you. So again, thank you so much for my panel guests, Dr. Monica Reed and Les McCoy. And take care. God bless, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.